Hi, this is my response to the Paducah shooting survivors post. I have to agree with Oscar. I saw his response to this, and that was kind of what led me to respond to it. I thought it was a well done video, very well thought out. I have to commend Survivor for. I commend her attitude for having such a positive attitude, for not harboring the kind of bitterness that I think people are obviously capable of, for not being consumed by anger about the Paducah shooting 10 years ago. And speaking about that particular incident, I think it's a sad thing that an incident that was as bad as it was a decade ago is unfortunately kind of been lost in the shuffle of everything that's happened since, whether we're talking about Virginia Tech or Columbine or anything else, because this has been a problem that's been going on for a while, and I think the heart of the issue is what really needs to be dealt with. I have to agree with the survivor in that we really need to be considerate of how we treat people from day to day. I can tell you from personal experience that in my middle school and high school years, and I'm pretty well removed from that now. It's been a while since I was in school, but I can tell you that those experiences weren't always happy ones because I was often the target of a lot of bullying, and I know that there are other factors involved, and that if you get rid of bullying, that's going to rule out the possibility entirely that you'll see shootings again. I think probably the likelihood is we will see more of these things unless we really get to the nitty gritty of the issue, as the saying goes. So I commend this Paducah survivor for having the attitude that she does, and I hope that having these kind of discussions and putting these issues of emotional problems that are either caused by bullying or, obviously I think there are other factors involved, but it's definitely not just a gun control issue. I think that's really only part of the equation, and I think uh, I have to agree with the question, that, if you're addressing gun control when you talk about school shootings, whether it's at Virginia Tech or Columbine or Paducah or wherever, I think if you're only talking about that particular part of the problem, you're really kind of missing the point. Uh, these kids that go and shoot up their classmates or their teachers or whoever, I think it's been said before, but I'll say it again. They're not out necessarily to kill people. This is more of an attention getter, I believe, and they're looking to kind of vent their anger in the direction of the people they feel have wronged them. And I will tell you that I never did anything. I never acted up when I was in school in terms of lashing out at people that I thought had been the source of my problems. And believe me, there were a number of bullies that I got really mad at, and I wanted to get revenge, but I never did anything. Partly because they were so much bigger than I was. That's why they're bullies. But in all seriousness, I believe that we really need to get to the heart of the issue here, whether it's emotional problems or a bad home life. If it's bullying, though, that this is definitely something that needs to be addressed. We shouldn't be paying it more lip service, which unfortunately I think that's what we've seen happen in recent years. And I know it's always been a problem for kids. And I think that's part of growing up, unfortunately. But I think if we don't find ways to deal with it in a healthy way to respond to it, we tell kids, hey, if you're having problems, talk to your friends, talk to your parents. But for God's sakes, don't go take a gun and blow somebody away because you think that's going to solve your problem, because it's not. And I say this as somebody who has handled guns. Um, I don't shoot very often, in terms of target shooting, that kind of thing. But I have people in my family that do, that are they're avid gun collectors, antique rifles, that kind of thing. And I developed a healthy respect for them in terms of knowing that these are objects that can inflict harm or even death on someone. And I think if you don't understand that's something else that maybe needs to be dealt with. I'm not saying there should be a gun in every home in the sense of so people understand what they're capable of doing, what these devices can do to another human being, but I think it's something that should also be discussed. But I definitely don't think it's just a gun control issue. This is an emotional problem. Um, there's something about being bullied when you're a kid, especially if you don't have a way to discuss it with other people. If you don't have a support system, this is going to be a problem that's going to just grow inside you. There's going to be anger and bitterness there that, if it's not dealt with, is going to lead to something bad. It might not be a Columbine or a Paducah or a Virginia Tech shooting. It might not be anything even close to that. But I think it's not healthy to have that anger inside you to begin with. So I think we need to, as has been said before by others, we need to deal with this issue head on. We can't just talk about it and hope it goes away. So I hope that if this discussion that we're having now about bullying, any of these issues, because I think that it's a pretty complicated thing overall, why these incidents have happened, then if it goes even so far as to help save one person's life in the long run, or help somebody feel better about themselves, if it does anything to make the world a better place, then it will have been time well spent. So I guess I have to commend the Paducah survivor's attitude and hope that others out there like her are talking about these issues and that we deal with them and we not just treat it as some sort of minor thing. I think this is something that definitely needs to be dealt with, and the sooner the better. Frankly, yesterday it would have been better. So I guess that's all I have to say. So thanks a lot, and let's keep up the good discussion. See ya, YouTube.